Zombies as a concept have been around since at least the 17th century, but they didn't truly enter the zeitgeist until George Romero released Night of the Living Dead. These zombies were characterized by their slow movement and desire to rip apart the living to eat their flesh. Although this initial telling by George Romero is now rendered unwatchable by its monochrome look and slow pace, annoying film students all across the globe bask in its aged perfection, whatever floats your boat. But zombies have evolved into more complex, horrifying, and sometimes hilarious forms over the years. And I have to get to the bottom of the question in all of our hearts. Which zombie is the deadliest? So I've come up with a scoring system to help us through this. I hope you're taking notes at home. Category 1, I think I'll just hang inside for now, thanks. These zombies aren't a huge concern. They can't use doors and they're hardly strong enough to puncture through glass. If you have enough food and water, you're better off hanging out at home. I'll go ahead and put Night of the Living Dead in this category. We're gonna be fine, don't even worry about it. Category 2, I need to get really good at using firearms. Okay, this is getting a bit more serious. Hiding doesn't work, there's no food anywhere, and the only way I can survive is to learn to protect myself using the controversial Second Amendment. Hashtag come and take it. Zombies in this category are fast, intelligent, and move in packs. It'll take community and hardware to survive another day. Anything past this category is an extreme situation that very few survive, if any. I hope you're holding on to something. Category 3, it's so over. The zombies here are ruthless and take multiple forms, sometimes bearing human qualities to deceive you. You run, you hide, you question whether it's even worth it to continue fighting before falling into a restless sleep, reminiscing on your lost loved ones, trying to remember what their faces even looked like before all of this started. Alright, let's get started. The zombies in Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead are classic. If they don't sense humans, they walk around aimlessly. But as soon as a human is spotted, they run ferociously towards them, sometimes with unexpected athleticism. Most of the film takes place in a shopping mall, but the survivors quickly realize that if they don't want to die from starvation or dehydration, they should keep moving. Now, this would be a Category 2 situation if it weren't for how the movie ends. When the group of survivors escape to a remote island, going from a group of 10 to 4 in the process, yikes, they're attacked and presumably killed off camera by zombies. There's no hope at the end of this film. The zombie outbreak is everywhere, even outside of the mainland. So knowing what we know, this goes in Category 3. There's only one way out, you hate to see it. Shaun of the Dead was directly inspired by George Romero's work in the zombie space. I made a whole video about it, you can watch it here, and it holds up as one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. But the zombies here are not a very big threat, unless your pride overtakes you and you make an ass of yourself by trying to kill the protagonist of the film. I hate you, David. They're all very slow and stupid, unless alerted by blaring sounds or insight of the open door to your flat. This is an interesting situation for our ranking system because we know that by the end of the film, the zombies are defeated and actually reintegrated back into society. Because of this, Shaun of the Dead goes in Category 1. If you just hang out inside during the 24 hours this all took place, you wouldn't have even known what happened. Bear with me here. The first episode of Adventure Time deals with candy zombies after Princess Bubblegum tries to create a decorpsinator serum. But no one dies and they're all eventually cured by the remedy. Easy Category 1. But in Season 3 of the show, Adventure Time returns to the zombie plotline. This time, Cinnamon Bun eats Princess Bubblegum's saved candy zombie tissue from Episode 1. Leave it to Cinnamon Bun to ruin everything, am I right, fellas? While trying to create the remedy, they accidentally give the zombies big red lips, wings, and giant muscles. Now, if I was here for this, I would have made it a Category 3 situation. There's no coming back from this, I'm ending my life almost immediately. However, we eventually learn that Princess Bubblegum's rat named Science can create the remedy. So the rat does his or her or their thing just as Finn is overtaken by zombies. Finn, thinking quickly, douses himself in the antidote and lets all the zombies gnaw on his body, sacrificing himself for all of candy kind. And because we're watching a cartoon kids show, everyone's fine. Ladies and gentlemen and variations thereof, what was once a Category 3 situation has devolved into a Category 1 situation. You never see that anymore. If you had just been inside this whole ordeal, you wouldn't have even known it happened. The Zombieland universe is interesting because the situation is recently changed with the sequel. In the first film, we have regular classic zombies. In the sequel, however, we're introduced to multiple types of zombies. The Homer, stupid and not a problem. Major yawn alert. The Hawking, smart and calculated. Alright, we should watch out. The Ninja, silent but deadly, and not in a good way. And the T-800, knows how to take a bullet. It takes actually destroying the entire brain to stop them. And they travel in groups most of the time. Knowing what we know about both films, how the main character characters continue to thrive as a family, learning lessons and having fun along the way, this is our first Category 2 ranking. If you just know your way around a gun, you'll be fine. And if Jesse Eisenberg can survive dealing with Woody Harrelson shit, I'm sure we all can too. Warm Bodies is interesting because it's our first film told from the perspective of a zombie. And he can't actually remember his name, but he knows it starts with an R. Small world, mine does too. There are two types of undead in this film. First, there are the regular zombies like R that still have a touch of humanity to them. Bear in mind that part of the reason why they crave human brains is so they can relive the memories of their victims. They miss being a person. This has a lot of layers to it. The second, more horrifying type of undead in this film are called the Bonies. These are zombies that have totally lost themselves and have peeled away all of their skin and will eat anything with a heartbeat. Regular zombies like R are able to regain their humanity, but the Bonies are lost causes and just want to eat zombies and humans. They're trying to ruin everything. And I can imagine their frustration. Imagine figuring out you can become a human again after peeling away all of your skin. That's unfortunate timing. This is another Category 2 situation because we have to keep in mind that this takes place 8 years into the apocalypse. It took everyone a long while to realize that, as per usual, the one thing to rise above is the power of love and believing in yourself. So long as you know your way around a firearm and can keep everyone fed in the meantime, you'll be fine. When I first watched World War Z and I saw the scene where Brad Pitt watches as the bald kid is totally avoided by the zombies, my first thought was, oh, the zombies don't like hair. But that just wasn't the case. The easiest way to survive zombies in this movie is to be Brad Pitt. He survives everything. The initial outbreak in the heart of Philadelphia, a plane crash, injecting himself with a virus in hopes that he was right about a hunch. He travels whole countries without being bit once. These zombies are no joke either. They're like ants. The way they use each other to climb over this wall is terrifying. But that only happens because everyone in Jerusalem is banding together and singing and making way too much noise. Why are we all so comfortable all of a sudden? People are turning into American Ninja Warrior zombies. Stop with the singing. Real talk though, I think the best way to survive the zombies in this movie is to stay far away from people and zombies. This is the kind of apocalypse that the Doomsday Bunker people really have a leg up on. It's only a matter of time before Brad Pitt or some other notable character finds the cure. Just be patient. This is a high-end Category 2. The zombie war does take a very long time, but if you keep your wits about you and, God forbid, are sick when this thing kicks off, you might just end up fine on the other side. This is the scariest one yet. In a season 4 episode of Spongebob, his pet snail Gary bites Squidward with sharp teeth I didn't know he had, and he begins foaming at the mouth and making strange noises. Patrick, famously known for being the science expert on the show, warns them about mad snail disease. He points out symptoms that he can already tell Squidward is suffering from, including a rash, soreness of throat, bloodshot eyes, loss of balance, messy pants, ticklish ribcage, and severely untrimmed toenails. Mad snail disease wreaks havoc across Bikini Bottom as everyone is soon bitten by Gary. This quickly escalates into what might be a Category 3. This might be it, guys. But by the end of the episode, a doctor pulls a giant splinter out of Gary that was simply making him grouchy. And it was the placebo effect that took effect on everyone in Bikini Bottom after hearing about the non-existent mad snail disease. So this is the lowest form of zombie if we're talking deadliness. Easy low-end Category 1. I know a handful of people that would have slept through that. That one could have been bad. I'm happy there was a good resolution there. Train to Busan is the first foreign language film on the list and the first foreign language film I ever watched. If having to read a few subtitles is actually stopping you from seeing a foreign language film, pull your diaper up and do it. It's good stuff. The zombies in this film are scary. Once bitten, they become the undead in a matter of seconds. So being on a train, of all places, is not exactly ideal. The context here is important, I guess. The only reason they end up on a train is because, while trying to be a good father while in the midst of a custody battle with his ex-wife regarding their daughter, they're headed to Busan to please his daughter's only birthday wish of being with her mother. But enough about familial strain, let's talk about zombies. The rate at which these guys multiply is especially worrisome because of the contained setting of the train car, with the only worse option being hopping off and being totally exposed to these fast, undead people. But we learn that the zombies are practically no threat in the absence of light. Now, if I had gotten this information, I would have told the crew around me that we need to hang out until sundown, which is not that far away. So knowing this, and knowing that there are in fact quarantine zones that certain characters at the end of the movie make it to, watch it for yourself, we can classify this as a low-end Category 2 situation. And I know that's a hot take, but the severity of all this is based on setting, people. This wouldn't be so intense if I was, say, chilling at home with my boy Oliver, and I think anyone in their right mind who's lucky enough to be indoors when all of this kicks off would stay inside when the Amber Alert saying, "Stay inside, people are eating people," pops up on their iPhones. After however long long it takes for the sun to go down, word will start going around on Twitter that these guys cannot see in the dark. People will be making memes about it. They're quick with it when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then you can safely walk your way to a quarantine zone to see another day. And you'll want to do so pretty quickly so you're not stuck in one of the lost cities that we see in the sequel, Peninsula, which I'm not going to talk about because it really scares me. I don't like that movie. People are evil, especially those in power. Be good people. Is that too much to ask? I have personal beef with Abraham Lincoln versus zombies. I made a video about this a few months ago. You can watch it here. These zombies pop up out of nowhere long after Lincoln kills his own zombie mother. The zombies in this movie are not a problem so much as the people are. Most of the deaths are human error. The zombies in this movie are less of a threat than the one seen in Night of the Living Dead. And that movie came out 3,000 years ago. These guys are going into category 1 simply because I don't like them. I don't vibe with them at all. Maybe it's time we emancipate ourselves into the next movie. This next movie is probably the most realistic take on what a zombie apocalypse would look like in the modern digital age. #Alive shows the main character Jun Woo home alone in full gamer vlogger mode when everything kicks off. And that's a fortunate place to be because the zombies in this movie are fast, spry, and loud. Being very stupid, he lets a neighbor in to use the restroom, and he soon realizes, oh my god, he's a zombie. Jesus, dude, calm down. Now my head hurts. This is why you won't catch me being friendly with my neighbors. That was completely avoidable. He gets him out and is back to lonely gamer vlogger mode, posting videos about his isolation and loneliness since everything fell apart. The danger for Jun Woo no longer revolves around zombies, but around his sanity and food supply, which is already pretty low on both accounts. Later on, he unites with someone from a neighboring apartment, and they're rescued by a third weird guy. The guy drugs them and tries to feed them to his zombie wife, which is sweet in theory, but I don't think I can support it in practice. They get away and are eventually fine. I want to highlight here that in many zombie movies, zombies are really not the biggest threat all the time. People are the biggest threat. So far, Jun Woo's biggest brushes with death have been caused by other humans putting him in harm's way. Like I said, the zombies in this movie are fast, spry, and loud, much like a 3-year-old on a Panera charged lemonade. But if you're careful and know how to use a firearm well enough, you should be okay. Especially because by the end of the movie, they're rescued via helicopter by the government, and it's revealed that the survivors are being located by their social media posts, which is a very cool thing we have not seen explored much in the zombie genre with the explosion of social media. How cool is that? Woman Crush Wednesday. #Alive gets a firm category 2 nomination from me. Sure, I need to know how to shoot a little just to get by, but I can learn. I'll be found. It's only a matter of time. This next one is one of the most recognized icons of the zombie from ages 12 to 35. The Minecraft zombie poses almost no threat to any human. When bit by one, you aren't even infected. You just take some damage. So this is an obvious category 1, and I'm sorry for bringing it up in the first place. It felt necessary to acknowledge, and I did, but now I feel bad. Thriller. Michael Jackson's Thriller music video was my first time seeing zombies, and it really got to me when I was a kid. While walking with his date after seeing a scary movie, they pass a cemetery and are unaware that zombies are digging themselves out of graves and following them. They find themselves somehow surrounded by the slowest zombies in the world. MJ's date turns and oh my god, he's a zombie! Then comes the weirdest, most terrifying dance break in the history of modern zombieism. It's all fun and games until a zombie hits you with one of these. After the unnecessarily long dance break and around at the chorus, the girl is slowly chased by the crowd of zombies. So naturally, she runs into an abandoned house to corner herself with no chance of escaping. And this house is apparently made of paper, because the zombies are able to just rip through every surface to get to her. But as zombie MJ reaches towards her, it's revealed that she was just hallucinating or dreaming. It's not clear. But it's over, what a relief. The way this music video ends used to scare the absolute shit out of me, but watching it now, it's pretty lackluster. That doesn't play as well as I remember. Anyway though, the only threat in this video is being infected by that rhythm. So we have a clean category 1 situation. I still wouldn't let him around my kids though. All of Us Are Dead is one of my favorite zombie stories. The whole holy shit we're in high school and have to band together to fight off our zombified classmates, despite our differences and the politics of teenagerism, is a lot of fun for me. So if you don't know, the science teacher of the high school wants his son to stand up for himself against his bullies because the school's not doing anything about it. So he develops a chemical that turns fear into rage. thinking that would help. But as we all know at this point, playing God is a bad thing. His son turns into a raging cannibal, so the science teacher infects a hamster trying to find the antidote, and the hamster infects another student who infects other students, effectively kicking off the zombie apocalypse. The zombies in All of Us Are Dead are fast, violent, and well-dressed, a lot like me. What is especially interesting and horrifying about the zombies in this universe is that there are two types: typical zombies and then the half-bees. Regular zombies fall fully victim to the infection and turn into mindless, ruthless cannibals, but half-bees, when infected, retain their human intelligence but gain the strength and agility of regular zombies. And to make things even worse, the worst bully in the school, Nam, becomes a half-bee and basically wants to kill any living thing. There aren't many antagonists that make me feel so bitter and angry than Nam. He's so evil. His character's insane. So zombie categorization-wise, the regular zombies are already too athletic to outrun, even for a track star like myself. But the addition of rage-filled, human-thinking half-bees makes this much, much worse. Not to mention this show takes place in South Korea, which has much harder gun laws to work around. Basically, the only way you get a firearm is by working in law enforcement or similar occupations, which I guess I didn't mention for Train to Busan or Alive, but whatever. So I fear this is another Category 3 situation. It's so over. I have to leave with my dignity on this one. If you haven't seen this series, definitely check it out. It's good. And 28 days later, an animal rights activists group break into a research lab to rescue chimpanzees. But the chimpanzees are infected with the highly contagious rage virus. After releasing one of the monkeys, a woman is bitten and is fully infected in like 15 seconds. The rage virus is what it sounds like. It gives the infectee uncontrollable rage and aggression to kill anything it sees. 28 days later, hence the title, Oppenheimer wakes up out of a coma and bands together with other survivors to go to a military base, quarantine zone, whatever you want to call it. But after getting there, we relearn that people are inherently evil and the military base is luring women in to repopulate the earth. Can we just catch a break for a second, please? People are eating people. They do eventually get away and start living a quieter life. And there's hope at the end of the movie when we watch them flag down a passing plane. Although the film is based in London, so guns are, again, not as common as here in the colonies, I'm giving this a clean Category 2 ranking. So if you can lay low and wait this out patient style, I think you'll survive this one. But I haven't seen any of the other films in the franchise, so call me out if I'm wrong. The Walking Dead is the longest running zombie television show of all time. And listen, I wasn't gonna sit down and watch 11 seasons and however many spin-offs to talk about this show for 1 minute. Bear with me. When I was younger, I would watch this show every week with my family, but it really fell off for me when a certain character was killed off. And it's probably the one you're thinking of. The zombies are classic, okay? Nothing insane, but they'll bite and eat and infect you if you're not careful. And it's been 14 years of this shit. This is what the world is like now. You can't just hide in your house to avoid this like in Bikini Bottom. What strikes me the most about the show is that the antagonists are not the zombies. Again, what you really have to look out for are the people, like Negan or the governor. If you've seen the show, those names strike chords. There are no rules in The Walking Dead. People can just be evil and walk around after. Coupling that with the knowledge that when you die, even if you're not bitten, you're gonna turn into a zombie. The sickness is in the air and in you. This is just what the world is now. Knowing all of this, I'm placing The Walking Dead in a low-end Category 3. You could potentially get by if you know your way around a crossbow, but it may not be worth it because Jeffrey Dean Morgan is gonna wrap barbed wire around a baseball bat and kill off your favorite character. I just can't do it anymore, you guys. It's so over. So technically, there are no zombies in The Last of Us. It's a fungus. I never played the game, but I watched the show, and these guys are very zombie-like, and people infect people, so it counts, okay? Damn. So in real life, cordyceps are a parasitic fungi that only affects insects, not people. But in the world of The Last of Us, I have bad news. Cordyceps, or a strain of it or whatever, have infiltrated common crops and made its way into human beings, transforming them into a few different violent creatures over time. And I hope you're writing this down because it will be on the exam later. Within 2 days of exposure, you turn into a runner. The cordyceps make you extremely aggressive and give you an urge to kill any living thing around you, and that's not good. After 2 weeks to a year, you become a stalker, more careful, more calculated, but you can see a bit less well. After a full year of infection, you turn into a clicker, completely blind, but you can use echolocation and your ultra-sensitive hearing to hunt for your prey. Oh my god. Then after a long while, I hope you're holding on to something, you become a bloater. You're huge, first of all, but now you have insane strength and layers of fungi over you, acting as armor and making firearms near useless against you. I don't want to talk about this one anymore. It scares me. We should save ourselves the trouble of learning about the Rat King and just drop this in Category 3. That sounds good to me. There's an episode of Disney's My Babysitter's a Vampire where a silly mistake at a coffee shop leads to a zombie-type illness, but it's easily cured by cold air. So they blast the AC and everyone's fine. Category 1, easy. There's an episode of Community where a zombie-type zombie-type sickness breaks out at a Halloween party after Dean Pelton serves what he thought was taco meat that he bought at an army surplus store. Once again, the sickness is cured by blasting cold air over the infected, and the government wipes everyone's memories clean, so we're back to normal. Category 1. In 2 episodes of Phineas and Ferb, Dr. Doofenshmirtz creates the Repulsinator, which is meant to turn anyone repulsive. When he first tests out the machine, he's upset to find out that it just makes them a clone of himself, lab coat and all. It quickly takes over the town before the gang finds out that water can counteract the effects. So soon, the day is saved and everything is back to normal. Category 1, Part 3, LOL. Fun fact though, Shaun and Ed from Shaun of the Dead have a little cameo in this episode, which would be severely uninteresting to anybody but me. So thank God I'm the one making this video. Okay, let's stop there. Stop the count. It is a great honor to be hosting the first Septennial Zombie Media Awards, or ZMAs. While we are beyond grateful for each individual submission, there may only be one winner of the Deadliest Zombie Award. But before we get there, we first must crown the least deadliest zombie, or the Jimmy Carter Award. And this, without a doubt, goes to Spongebob Squarepants, where the zombies were merely entranced by the placebo effect after some dude, Patrick, told them about something that didn't exist. Congratulations to the show. The Best Dressed Award goes to zombified Michael Jackson in his now signature red leather jacket and Frankenstein-looking ass makeup, just barely edging out Woody Harrelson as Elvis in Zombieland Double Tap. Congratulations to all the nominees. Best Save goes to Finn the Human in Adventure Time for dousing himself in the antidote and allowing himself to be gnawed on by citizens of the infected Candy Kingdom. I would not have done that, and it's honestly troubling that you did. Please see the counselor after class. And without further ado, the Deadliest Zombie Award goes to The Last of Us. The political climate, the types of zombies, the fucking Rat King. It's all too much for the people of this world to deal with, and I will not stand for it. Congratulations from the team here at the ZMAs. We look forward to returning in 2031 for the next one. If you like the video, you should subscribe, and comment what zombie I missed, and tell me what category it would be in and why. This is a very scientific system, and all zombies should fit in pretty snugly. Okay, I'll see you later. Take it easy.